everybody. I'm just going to wait for some more people to join. My name is Sonia Daptardar, and I am the host of Inspire, Unite, Motivate. With this show, I hope to inspire everybody to create positive change in society, unite all of the existing change makers of the world, and motivate everyone of all ages to get out in their communities and serve. So I'm super excited to be kicking off season 3 today on February 9th, 2025. Thank you so much to everybody joining for taking time out of your day on a Sunday, especially Super Bowl Sunday, to be with us today. And I'm super excited. So while we're waiting, if you are going to be watching the Super Bowl, let me know in the comments below who you're going to be rooting for. While we do that, I'm just going to wait for our special guest to join. Hello, hello. I see some more people joining. And also, if you guys have any questions for our special guest, feel free to put them in the comments below in the chat. There's a Q&A feature, and then there's also comments. So we'll definitely get to those during the interview. So I see that she is here. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you today. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Sorry about the confusion with the scheduling.
Mhm.
It's been pretty busy around my house lately.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. A lot of us are students and it can be really hectic to schedule things. So you're all good. I totally understand. So a lot of people are joining. For anybody that might not know you, do you want to just start off by introducing yourself?
Yes, I am Alyssa. I am the 2024 Miss Princess of America. I am a full-time college student. I'm a senior in college. I work as a server at a local restaurant, but I was an intern over the summer as a IT specialist intern. And then I compete in pageants outside of school. So I am constantly doing something.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think just quick note, it's really inspiring how you're able to balance all of that because that sounds like a lot, but it sounds like you've got it all under control. So that's awesome. So today we're here to talk about all things community service, starting our own initiatives, things like that. So do you want to just tell us what is your platform and what inspired you to start
Yeah.
it?
So my platform is C.L.I.C. It stands for Cultivating Leaders in Cyber Knowledge. It obviously it stems from my love of cybersecurity. I don't know if I mentioned that. I have a cybersecurity major. And my minor is in criminology. And so I wanted to, like, as I was going through school, learning about everything online and kind of learning the dangers of online, like, there's a lot out there that a lot of people aren't aware about. I became really passionate about wanting to find a way to make the internet a safer place and wanting to make online safety a part of everybody's life. And so that's kind of what started the idea for my platform. And then I just kind of was like, hey, let's do it. And I don't really see a whole lot of other people doing it, so let's roll with it. And I decided I wanted to tie in aspects of mental health and cyberbullying as it all kind of ties together, especially as a generation that is so heavily involved with social media. And so I actually have my two books right here. I wrote two children's books. This one is called Scout the Cyber Smart Bee, and it is about cyberbullying and how to be a good friend and what to do if you or somebody you know is being cyberbullied, or if you just see cyberbullying, how you can go about correcting it and helping with it, helping to fix the problem. And then this one is The Safe Surfing Squad. This is a book that is entirely about teaching kids how to handle online safety, responsibility, being wary of talking to strangers online. And the back of it actually has a page full of resources for parents and kids and younger people to look at if they were ever to need it. So I've written those two children's books. I created a mental health app. I wanted to challenge myself. Part of cybersecurity is learning how to program and code. and I wanted to challenge myself. And it definitely gave me a newfound respect for those who program and develop and code as their daily jobs because boy, oh boy, was it hard. It was a total challenge, but I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. It was a very rewarding experience. And so, yeah, I do a little bit of everything, like hands-on stuff, techie stuff. My goal is just to really make sure that everybody understands how crazy the world can be, how safe, you really need to try to be online, and but also not to scare you. I want everybody to enjoy the internet. The internet is a blessing. Social media it's a great thing. So I want to make sure that we're just safe and not scared and not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that last part you mentioned that a lot of people nowadays are like, oh my gosh, social media can be terrible. It's horrible. Like, we need to completely stop. We need to completely cleanse. And shout out to the people who do that. That's awesome. And I love that for you. But I think for me, social media has done a lot more like good than harm because I've been able to kind of use those cybersecurity tools. Like, this talk show would not be happening without social media. We would not be connected without it. And so, yeah, I really love that you mentioned that as long as we stay safe online, it can be great. I also love that you mentioned that you wrote books because my own personal platform is all based on like literacy and books and early childhood and all those kinds of great things. And so I just think that's super inspiring. And on that note, somebody asked in the comments, how can we get our hands on these books?
So both of these books are available on Amazon. You can just type in the name, Safe Surfing Squad, or Scout the Cyber Smart Bee, and they both should be available. I was actually just messing around with them on Amazon the other day, but they are both up to date. They are live, and you can order them through there.
That's amazing. And I also saw with your books that you went on a book tour and you're trying to get them in like 50 states. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So, it actually started with I went on vacation last summer, right after I had won my title. I went to Alabama and I was like, you know what? I want to do like some service work. Like, I just got this title. I'm ready to hit the ground running. Like, what is something that I can be doing even on vacation? And so I took a copy of my books with me and I was like, I'm going to go donate them. So I went and I donated a set to a little free library down there at their local police station. And then I actually got to go to Gulf Shores Elementary School. And I was able to go in and talk to a group of fifth graders and kind of educate them. I was able to donate another set of books to their school library, but I was able to kind of give them a quick little spiel on, hey, you guys are around the age where you start getting cell phones, you start getting access to social media and the internet. So here's some of my tips. Just be careful out there. And so that was what started it. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try to do this everywhere. So obviously I can't be in all 50 states in one year with everything that I have going on. So my goal is to get a copy of my books everywhere. I want a copy of my books in every single state before I give up my title. And I've been able to do some of my own. I was able to hit Nebraska, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Missouri, like on the state tour with Princess of America. But again, can't be everywhere. So I am now reaching out to all of my leaders and anybody who's willing to help. I'm wanting to get a set of my books to at least one person in every state, whether it is for you to keep them for your kids or yourself, or to donate them to a charity, a library, a school, little free library, anywhere of your choosing. The goal is to just spread awareness as much as possible and as far as possible. When I released Scout, the Cyber Smart Bee, I was able to send it to elementary schools um, overseas. I was able to send it to some family members that I have in Italy and some in Canada. And then I kind of just branched out and networked with people in other countries. And I was like, you know what? Like, I just want to make this such a big deal because it's so important. And it kind of just fueled the fire. Sorry, I know that was a little bit of a ramble spiel, but I'm just really passionate about it. And I really want to make sure that our future generations are being responsible and safe online.
Yeah,
So,
really
so
meaningful.
sorry, go
I
ahead.
was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
say, yeah, that's like a really meaningful mission, and that's super incredible. Please continue.
Well, I was just gonna say I posted about it because I got so busy with the holidays and with tour travel that it kind of got lost in like my things to do, and so I was like, okay, I need to pick back up on it, and so I announced it 3 days ago, like, hey, I'm still doing this, and I need your guys' help, and my community has come through quite a bit just in the last 3 days. I've been able to knock off at least 9 more states, which has been incredible. But I am still looking for volunteers and people to help. So, if you go back to my post that I made about it a couple days ago, I've been updating it. I have a list on there of all the states that I still need somebody from. So feel free to check that out and see if you can help me. And you can just message me, you can leave a comment, and I'll reach out to you about what needs to be done.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And if you are watching the live replay of this, I'll like link down all her socials down below so you can go check those out so that we can all, come together and hopefully get it to all 50 states because, my big goal with this talk show is to unite all of these like change makers. So I'm 100% sure that we can make it happen. On that note, you seem really passionate about like educating people and getting this message out there, and I think that's incredible. So my question is, what age do you think we should start teaching like cybersecurity to kids and why? I think you like touched on it a little bit, but I was just wondering like a little bit more elaboration.
I think it's kind of weird. It's like a weird when do we start? What do we talk about? So, I really quickly cybersecurity itself for because a lot of people don't know what cybersecurity actually is. Cybersecurity is the practice of securing data and information online. But it's an umbrella. There's so many things that are in like underneath it, such as online safety, password safety, not talking to strangers online, not giving out personal information, being careful about what you're posting online. So that's where the online safety aspect comes into play for my platform. And I've thought about it. Obviously, it feels like every day that I see somebody younger and younger with a phone in their hand. And obviously, like, I wasn't allowed to have social media until I hit high school. I wasn't allowed to have it till I was a freshman in high school. So I was 15, I think. I think I was 15. I'm honestly not sure. Don't remember. But at that point, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And I was just going through social media, adding people I don't know. Hey, you seem cool. Let's be friends. Like, I shouldn't have done that. But um, I've been okay. I definitely think there is a difference in the when we talk about what age should we teach cybersecurity and online safety. I would say elementary school is a good starting point. I'm not entirely sure what grade. I would probably say like maybe fourth into fifth is a good time to start bringing up, hey, these are good, safe online practices. Obviously, we're in the age where we're moving towards more online schooling and online resources for those that can't be in person. And so it comes into play like, hey, my kindergartner is doing like stuff online for school. Okay, well, your child has access to the internet. But are they going to understand what you're saying? Like, hey, don't do this, this, and this. Like, probably not. They probably will understand, hey, don't talk to a stranger. So I think it's just like a step by step. With each age, you just add a little more. I would say by fifth grade, they should know, hey, don't give your password out to anybody. Don't talk to strangers online. Don't give out your address. Like, make sure like you're keeping that sensitive information private. And that's a good conversation that families can have with their kids each year as the school year starts, because once school starts, you meet all sorts of people, things start to change, and you grow with each year. And so it's really important to make sure that as you're growing, your online safety is growing. And I would say by high school, even before high school, there should definitely be the talk of cyberbullying. I would definitely say fifth grade into middle school is where the cyberbullying talk needs to come into play. As kids are getting more aware with concept of bullying itself, they need to learn about online bullying. And they're going to start getting access to social media, going to start getting access to, um, you know, the unfortunately not so nice kids that always have something rude to say. So I definitely would say middle school is a good time to start teaching about cyberbullying. And then by high school, they should know about cyberbullying. They should know about keeping everything private. But in high school, I think you can amp up cybersecurity itself and start saying, hey, even if you don't want to necessarily go into cybersecurity itself, let's talk about jobs in tech. Tech is a big part of our future. And you got to start considering what you want to do with your future after you graduate. So I think there should be at least like a universal class or like a week that is just taught, kind of like how schools do Red Ribbon Week. I think it would be really interesting for schools to do like a digital safety awareness week where they maybe bring in some people to come and talk to students about online safety, future careers in tech and cyber itself, as well as making sure that they are educated. Not everybody has the best situation where they can learn with everybody else. Sometimes people need to learn on their own, they need to do external resources. And so I think by the schools making sure that they are implementing this into that education system, everybody can be included and everybody can make sure that they're getting the education needed for it.
Yeah, it's actually so funny you mentioned that because I think College Board, which is like they do all the APs, I think they are trying to get like AP cybersecurity, something along those lines, like instated into high schools. And I think that that's a really good step because, like you said, it's really important. A lot of like high schoolers get really dismissive after a while, especially when you hit like 11th, 12th grade. They're like, this is common sense for me. Like I know what I'm doing, but everybody can be kind of the victim of a scam because something I've seen like this happened just last year. A bunch of Instagram accounts got hacked, and one of my friend's accounts got hacked. So she messaged another friend of mine, and she was like, hey, like I really need money. I wouldn't ask you this otherwise. And actually, that did end up kind of going through because my friend genuinely thought like the other friend was in trouble. So I think yeah, this is definitely a really important conversation to have. And I also agree on like starting young because I know my brother, he's in elementary school and they have like email accounts, they have all the stuff there, they have Roblox is like a really
Mhm.
big one. Adding on there, they don't know anybody on there. Like all these usernames, it's really tough to tell who's who, who's what age, all those kinds of things. So I definitely agree that this is a conversation that is not just like a yeah, I tell you one time and that's it, because technology is like constantly evolving and it's constantly growing. And at each age, there's like something new that's going to happen regarding cybersecurity. So I really love that you touched on that and a little bit more going into like educating and talking about cybersecurity. I also saw that you have like a Tech Talk Tuesday thing. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? What was the inspiration behind it and kind of how does it work?
Yeah, so I started Tech Talk Tuesdays um, as the Princess of America Missouri ambassador for 2024. So when I had my state title, I was like, you know what? I really want to amp up my platform. What can I do? But I wasn't doing it as um, like videos. I wasn't posting reels. I was just making like carousels and just posting photos. And so, and those got really good attention and traction. But then when I won my national title, I was like, you know what? It's time to step it up. Like, let's hit the ground running and see what I can do this year. And so I was like, let's make some videos. I just want to sit down and I want to talk to people and I want to have a conversation with people. And so those reels allow for me to sit there and actually feel like I'm having a conversation with everybody on the internet. And it's really nice. But I try to keep Tech Talk Tuesdays lighthearted. There's a lot of, I'm getting on the internet and I'm telling you, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And it's a lot of, it can kind of come across as negative, but I try to keep it upbeat. I try to keep it positive. Um, I try to cover everything from small stuff like, hey, did you know that if you get a refrigerator that can connect to your Wi-Fi, your credit card can get stolen? Like, it's something crazy like that that's just kind of interesting. Or there's the more serious topics where I talk about parents making sure their kids are safe online and are not talking to strangers. Um, or I just recently made one talking about the whole thing going on with TikTok, like what is going on with TikTok. And people were like, we want to know. And so I was like, okay, I'll tell you. And so I was able to kind of just stay non-biased, stay non-political, and just kind of give the facts from the tech side of things. like, hey, this is why it's an issue on the tech side of things, not political, not my opinion, just this is why it's an issue. Um, but I think that they're a really good way to deliver information to all sorts of different audiences. I actually had one of my sister queen's moms come up to me last time we were together and say, I appreciate everything you are doing with those Tech Talk Tuesdays. She was like, me and my husband, we are so lost with tech. Like, we have no idea what's going on half the time. And your videos make it so easy for us to understand what's going on. And we're able to keep an eye on so and so and her sister just to make sure like they're not talking to strangers, they're being safe online, and that there's nothing weird going on. And that like warmed my heart so much to know that like I'm actually making a difference with them. So every Tuesday, unless there's a holiday or something else that I post about, every Tuesday, usually in the evening, I post, I try to keep it between 1 to 5 minutes. Sometimes they're longer depending on the topic. But I just talk about random topics involving tech. Like I said, little fun facts, anything that's currently going on and trending, or something more serious. So it varies every week.
Yeah, I think that's so important because we're in such an age of like misinformation where people are just kind of throwing out all kinds of things about tech. I think just last week there was something about like TikTok's brain, like connecting to your brainwaves, and I was like, I really don't think that's possible. And a bunch of people were believing it and they were scared, and like people were deleting things and all sorts of things were happening. So I think that Tech Talk Tuesday is a really good way to kind of give the facts in a non-biased way. And then there was a whole nother side of social media where they've turned like all of this into something super political, and then people don't know what to believe because there's like a propaganda being pushed down. They're like, well, this seems real, but I don't know if this is just propaganda or what's going on with that. So I think that especially kind of in this day and age that that's a really important tool for people to have. And so yeah, definitely everybody tune into those because it's such a great tool to have. So my next question was that you are so focused and so passionate about like education and cybersecurity. If in a perfect world, like a lot more people kind of got educated on cybersecurity, what do you think like the positive effects of that would be on society? Like what are some problems maybe that it would solve?
I definitely think we would have a lot less scamming. I think we would have a lot less phone calls to the bank saying, "Hey, my card got hacked." um, I actually really love this question because I love my mother. She's gonna be so mad at me for saying this. I love my mother dearly. She does everything for me. She's my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. Her card gets hacked all the time because she buys from shady websites all the time, and I'm like, Mom, I love you, but if it's too good to be true, don't buy it, don't believe it. She's learning. But in that perfect world, I really do think we would see way less scamming, way less like fraud, and I think we would see a lot more people advocating for each other online. So the biggest fault of people online is giving away information without even realizing it. It's called social engineering, and it is where you could get a spam email. Somebody could call you pretending to be your bank and saying, "Hey, I need your security questions. Like, can you answer your security questions for me? Can you tell me your password? Can you verify your account number?" You just gave them your security questions, your password, and your account number. They can pretty much do whatever they want with that information, and they will take your money, unfortunately. And so I think if we could, in a perfect world, if everybody was more educated on, hey, if you get a suspicious email, this is the red flag number one, red flag number two. Like, this is what you need to look out for. We would definitely see a lot less phishing attacks, which is what it's called when somebody tries to scam you via email. We would see a lot less fraud if people knew what to pay attention to on sketchy websites, which is if there's no reviews on any products, that's a red flag. If the website URL is really sketchy, like it's misspelled and it's like weird words jumbled together, that's another one. If again, the product review one is the biggest thing. Like if there's a bunch of products and there's no reviews on anything, that's the biggest red flag. I think people would understand that, hey, I shouldn't put my credit card information in here. Another thing to look at is when you are on a website, In the top, in like the URL bar, there should be a lock. If there's not a lock, it means that that website is not encrypted, which 9 times out of 10, it usually means that it is fishy in some way and sketchy, and I wouldn't go near it. um, but as well as I think everybody would just be able to advocate for each other more online. I think everybody would understand the effects of social media a lot better if they were more educated on online safety. We would have a lot better mental health. I think we would see a decrease in the amount of people comparing themselves to other people online. I know that I catch myself doing it even. Like sometimes it's hard. You just get stuck in that way of comparing yourself to others online. But I think we would see an increase in mental health and positivity from everybody online, and a decrease in those who use social media as a weapon or as a way to harm others. You know, look out for those who don't know the signs. Staying away from people you don't know, like I mentioned online. Don't answer suspicious DMs. Block those that are mean to you. Block those that are weird and creepy and bother you. But overall, I think it would be extremely positive and extremely impactful on the world if we could get it more, um, more common in the education
Yeah.
system.
I love how you pointed out all of these signs that a lot of people don't know to look out for because sometimes people are like, yeah, well, obviously I'm not going to pick up a spam call. Obviously I'm not going to do that. But then there's those smaller things that people don't really look out for, like the lock and the URL. Like that's not something people are normally like, is there a lock in my URL? But it's equally as important. So I think it's really important to point those things out, especially because now, like with all the Netflix and Hulu and all those shows coming out, people are going more and more to sketchy websites and
Yeah.
finding it, and so much more dangerous than people realize, or people are
Mhm.
downloading things, doing all of that, and they think it's just, yeah, because I just wanted that, because I just wanted to see that. It's a one-time thing, but it can really be dangerous because they can steal your information. And also, like with the calls you mentioned, so many people pick them up as a joke, but they stay on the line for like a minute or more, and now their voice is recorded and being used.
Yep.
So there's so many different types of scams and so many things that people don't realize could be done with that. So yeah, I really love how you pointed out like the not so much talked about type things. And moving a little more into the pageantry aspect, how has kind of POA and your sister queens been able to support you in your efforts?
POA has supported me through from the minute I stepped in the door. And that is something that I absolutely love about the Princess of America system. I highly recommend it to anybody who is looking to get involved in pageantry or looking for their next journey. It's a great system. And like I said, they have supported me from the minute I stepped foot on their state pageant back in 2022, the little Missouri pageant. um, but since they supported me all through my time as a state title holder. They were always there for me, always saying, "Hey, if you need anything, reach out to us." They spoiled us. They did everything for us. But as a national queen, it has been amplified, and it has been so nice having a group of girls as my sister queens, and a great set of staff and directors who also support everything that I'm doing with my platform. Um, we just got back from our cruise, our sister queen, National Queens cruise that we went on, and one of the staff members was there doing hair and makeup for us queens, and so I went into her room and she was doing my hair, and I've known her for a while, and we were just talking, and she was like, "I saw your Tech Talk Tuesday about TikTok." And she was like, "Honestly, good job, great job." She was like, "It was phenomenal." She was like, "You did a great job." She was like, "You were so well spoken. You handled it like just overall." She was like, "Applause." And I was like, "Thank you." And then me and her got talking, and she was like, "Hey, you could do one talking about all the technology that goes into a cruise ship. Like, hey, what do you see with the internet? What do you see with the boat itself?" And I was like, "That's not a bad idea." And I ended up doing that this week. That was the conversation topic this week, was all the tech that goes into cruise ships. And so it's kind of nice to know that the staff and the directors are paying attention and saying, "Hey, good job. Do you need anything? Let us continue to support you." And then my sister queens, they've been absolutely incredible. I've never had a bad group of sister queens ever. But the national ones have been really awesome. Like I said, their moms come up to me and are like, thank you for doing this. I actually have a sister queen whose mom is involved in um, a governmental department. And so she talks to me all the time. She's like, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. There are so many people out there who don't know what's going on and aren't aware of the situations. And so she's like, thank you for using your platform, using your voice to teach everybody. And my sister queens have been so helpful with my book tour. I've had a couple of them reach out and be like, hey, I'm visiting some other states. Send me a couple copies of your books so I can go donate them for you. They're constantly liking up my TikTok or like my Tech Talk Tuesdays, always hyping me up when I get something new. And my senior ambassador, Abby, she is 24, 23. Oh my gosh, Abby, don't kill me. I'm sorry. I don't know your age. She's 23 or 24. And with her being the oldest one with me, like kind of like we're closest in age. And she also has a job that involves being on the computer a lot. And so she understands computer concepts and tech concepts and cybersecurity stuff a little bit. And so it's really fun to just kind of talk to somebody else who's in the same system as me, my sister queen, but also has like a better understanding of what I'm actually talking about. Because then we just bounce ideas back and forth off each other, and I'm like, "Hey, would this be a good topic to talk about? Does this post look good?" And so it's been really fun having a group of girls that I can share ideas with and just really feel loved and supported by.
Yeah, definitely. I think the community that kind of pageants give you is really underrated because you see all these other benefits like, oh, I get to walk in a gown. Oh, I get to like practice interviewing. Oh, I get to do all this and that. But I think this is kind of something that gets brushed over sometimes is like those amazing group of girls that you can like lean on and talk to and collaborate with and are always going to support you no matter what. And I think a little bit of that is because of the media. Like the media loves to paint pageant girls as like, yeah, they're always going to like secretly like sabotage you, and that's not the truth at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they're actually your biggest supporters, and I think that's just really incredible to hear about. It's like that collaborative effort. A lot of like my talk show episodes have been girls in pageants who are doing amazing things, and that collaboration and community kind of couldn't have been created without like that support system and like helping each other and really building
Mhm.
each other up. And so I think that's absolutely amazing. So kind of you mentioned that you were involved on a state level, you won a title on the state level in Missouri, and now you're a national title holder. So kind of what has been the difference and how have you been able to have like a larger impact with a national title versus like a state title?
Yeah, so I've been competing at POA for 3 years. This was my third year at nationals. Like I said, my first year was 2022. I won Miss Missouri and then didn't place at nationals, came back in 2023, and I took the appointed title of Miss Show Me State. And then went to nationals and I placed top 5 in the Miss division and top 10 in the ambassador competition. And it was incredible. It was an absolute amazing feeling. And I was like, I'm going back. Like I'm doing this again. And so I went back to the Missouri pageant and I took the title of the Miss Missouri Ambassador. And I had actually rebranded my platform leading up to the Miss Missouri Ambassador title. I was doing a platform called the Be Brave movement that was mainly just focused on mental health. But as I grew, I wanted my platform to grow with me. And so that's kind of when I rebranded it as cybersecurity and click. And so on that level, I was able to I was able to do quite a bit at a state level, which I was really proud of. I'm a hard worker. I like when I put my mind to something, I do it. I get it done. And so at a state level, I was doing the Tech Talk Tuesdays as just like slides on Instagram, and they were reaching a good amount of people. I have a good network. I have a good community. Um, but when once I stepped into that national title holder role, I was handed an Instagram account that had over 1,500 followers on it compared to my like state like personal title holder account that had like 200. And so I was like, wow, like this is a lot of people that are going to be paying attention to what I'm doing, what I'm saying. And so I've always wanted to put my best foot forward as a title holder in general, but especially as a national title holder and somebody who's being looked at from people at all ages. I feel like my impact has tripled since being a national title holder. I'm reaching so many more people. Every time I go to a state pageant and they put me up there and they ask me questions about my platform and everything and about my time as a title holder, I always have somebody come up to me and just say, "This is amazing. What you're doing is amazing. If you ever needed like a contact or for this and this, reach out to me." And I'm just like, okay. Like, okay, like I didn't realize I was gonna be, I mean, I didn't really think about it. Like, didn't think I was gonna be getting some networking connections here in terms of like the real world, the professional world. Um, but it's been fun. I feel like my impact, like I said, has tripled. I did a I did a fundraiser for a local homeless shelter that I volunteered with for years. I've done fundraisers with them as a state title holder several times, and I did a clothing drive for them back in, I think it was the summer. It was either summer of 2023 or earlier in like the spring of 2024, and I did a clothing drive for them as a state title holder, and it was really good. It went really well. I had a lot of people donate, and it was phenomenal. I was so grateful for it. And then I did the same thing as a national title holder. Just back in December, I did a clothing drive for Loaves and Fishes again, and I had people sending me clothes from different states. Like I had a big box on my porch when I came home from class one day, and I was like, what the heck? I didn't order anything. And the box was so heavy, and I opened it up, and a friend of mine that lives in another state that I used to compete in pageants with had sent me a giant box full of just clothing that she was like, donate it. I don't need it anymore. Give it to somebody who needs it. And so I had I had a couple people send me stuff from out of state, but it was so nice to see like my impact was had just grown tremendously. And we actually ended up donating over 525 pounds of clothing to the shelter. It was absolutely insane. I went and dropped it off, and the volunteers were like, they just couldn't believe it. They were so excited. They were so happy to see what we were doing. And I was like, it wasn't all me. Like, it was my incredible community here in St. Louis, but also all across the country. Everybody came together for something that truly mattered. And it was just really nice to see how the impact had doubled or tripled essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that really took like my platform grows with me to such a new level because your kind of impact and the things you were doing really did grow with you. And I think that's super inspiring to hear about because a lot of times people are really reluctant to host fundraisers or do drives or kind of anything that involves like collecting something from other people because they think, I'm not really sure that this is going to work. And if it doesn't, it's going to be really embarrassing.
Yes.
All about just kind of taking that risk, taking that chance, because it could end up like that where you have all of your amazing community members coming together and really just as passionate, be it just as passionate as you are about the cause. And I think
Mhm.
that's really amazing to hear because more often than not, you're going to hear all these like kind of stories about, yeah, I tried to do this and it was just complete failure. But then out of those 10 times you fail, there's going to be that one time like this one where you're going to be like, wow, I made such a big impact that like those other things don't even matter anymore because I was able to kind of do this and do what I was passionate about and bring so many people together. And so I
Mhm.
think that's amazing. And it kind of leads into my next question, which was there are so many girls out there who kind of want to get in community service or want to connect with other people or kind of want to do step into that realm, but they're not really sure. They're scared, they don't want to take a risk, or they just really don't know where to start. So kind of what advice would you give to somebody who wants to start serving their community or wants to build something of their own?
I would definitely say if you don't know where to start, pick something that you love. Um, my family is a very heavily hands-on volunteer family. Sorry, I have like a cold, and
Girl.
so my voice goes in and out every once in a while. But I've been volunteering since I was a little girl just because that's the nature of my family. But I have had people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want to be involved. I just don't really know what to get involved in or where to start." And so I would say pick something that you truly love. I started volunteering with animals. I love animals. I am such a big animal lover. I have two dogs, two big old blockhead pit bulls that I love so much. And I've had dogs around me my whole life growing up. And so I wanted to get involved at my local rescue shelter. So my church would do this, it's called Serve Saturday. And the first Saturday of every month, they would get together and there was different volunteer opportunities, and my family always did the animal shelter one. And we would go and we'd clean cages, we would walk dogs, we would organize like their toys that they have for all the animals. We would clean kennels, we would do laundry, wash towels and blankets and stuff for them. And that's kind of what got it started. And I started my pageant volunteer work with my local animal shelter, and then I just kind of grew and did all the other things. I always like to try new stuff, so I'm always volunteering somewhere new. But yes, for those who are a little confused as to where to start, pick something that you love. You can call them and say, hey, do you have any volunteer opportunities available? I would love to get started. You can go visit them, or you can just simply Google online volunteer opportunities. Usually, the city always has something, like your local city should always have some sort of volunteer opportunity available. You can do homeless shelters, soup kitchens, animal shelters. I volunteered at a thrift store that was associated with the foster adoption coalition, and they took in all these items for their thrift store, and they would go through and they would take items that they would get as donations and donate them to the foster families that are getting ready to take in a little baby or a child or a teenager, and say, hey, we need this. Okay, here's what we got in. You can have this. And then they would put the rest of it in their thrift store. And so I thought that was a really cool initiative. Literally everywhere. If you just want to do something small, go over to your neighbor, ask if you can cut their grass, clean their pool, walk their dog. If you have like grandparents, I do a lot of work for my grandma. I love her so much. She just enjoys spending time with me, and I enjoy spending time with her, and I help her around her house. I actually do a lot of, if you're tech savvy, this is a great way. Help the elderly with their phones. I did that with my grandma. She had a bunch of friends come over, and I taught them a bunch of stuff on like how basic functions, how to use your iPhone, how to get your email on your iPhone, how to reset your password if you can't remember it. Like just starting with stuff like that. You can even go to a library, read books to children. There's so many volunteer opportunities around you, regardless of where you are. And so find something that you love, or find something that you're like, I've never tried this before, but I think I could do it, because you never know where it might lead. So my advice is just get out there. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and do something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I completely agree with your city is really the best place to start. I know my city, so I live in Cary, North Carolina, and so all of the cities around us too, like Apex, Morrisville, all of those areas have their own youth councils, which are open to anybody who's like grade 7 through 12 or something like that, and they post like hundreds of events every month, and there are so many opportunities. You can join 2 of them, 3 of them, whatever works for your schedule, and you're able to get out and try different kinds of volunteering activities. So especially if you don't know like what type of thing you want to be in. And I think I love that you mentioned this before too. It's like you started out with one thing, you started out with mental health, and then it kind of grew and evolved with you, and you were able to rebrand. I think that's something a lot of people don't realize, is it's okay to kind of change your focus, or it's okay to hone in on one thing at some point. Like you don't have to always do like a million different things. You don't
No.
have stick to the thing you started with, because I started my platform in like 7th grade, and obviously things, I'm going to grow, I'm going to change, and it's going to grow with me. And at one point, like my focus was a lot on homelessness and homeless shelters, and I still care deeply about that. I still go out there and serve, but my focus evolved to like reading and literacy, and that was kind of a change that was needed, because that was just something I was more passionate about and wanted to dedicate more time to. So yeah, definitely like start with your local city. All of the pieces of advice you gave were amazing, and there's like always opportunities around you if you're able and willing to go out and find them. And so yeah, that's definitely incredible. What are your future plans though with your own platform? So like in 5 years, where do you hope to see Click?
Oh boy, I have not been asked that question since I think I won my title. Um, where do I plan to see Click? Well, it has changed a little bit because my personal direction has changed a little bit since I actually won my title. Um, okay, so I'm going into a area of work where I want to use cybersecurity tactics such as securing information online, um, using their like engineering tactics, coding and programming and all this to help stop the online exploitation of children. And so it's a very dark topic, so I don't talk about it very often online. But that that's a deep passion of mine. Like that is my dream job is helping stop online exploitation of children. And so I would love to see Click involved in that. I would love to take my platform to the next level of really implementing it and putting it into my everyday job and using my platform as a way to educate families. I would love to eventually start my own website that is a resource for families to visit to make sure that, like, because parenting, I'm not a parent, but parenting is hard. I have friends that are parents. I hear my parents say it all the time. As somebody who's 22, I see it. Like, it's hard, especially in today's day and age with tech evolving. And so I would love to create a website that is a family resource. Showing like, hey, this is what you can do to educate your kids. This is what you can do to educate yourself. And if they were to have a crisis or some sort of emergency where their child is involved in something exploitive online, there's resources for them to help. There's people that they can get in contact with to help stop that situation, fix the situation, get rid of it completely. um, so I would really love to develop a website that allows me to do that with Click. Something else, I would love to further develop my app Mindful. I've been what I it takes a while to do updates and stuff on that. And so I would really love to amplify Mindful and make it where there's like daily habit tracking on there. So like, did you drink water today? Did you get out of bed today? Did you spend time in the sun? Did you take your vitamins? I would really love to amplify that and maybe even develop another app. I don't know what the concept of another app would be for me to develop, but it would definitely involve something either mental health related or online safety related, maybe creating some sort of game for kids to play that educates them at the same time. I'm not quite sure, but I would definitely love to see Click more heavily involved in my actual job in the future.
I think that that's an amazing goal, and I really agree that like parenting is hard in the sense that like a lot of parents, if you hear all these stories and the first thing people are like, oh, well, why didn't her mom or her dad like look into that? But it's really hard. First of all, sometimes kids don't tell their parents things, or
Mhm.
sometimes even the parents or the kids don't realize what's going on. Why awareness and like spreading that is really important. And then when it does happen, so many people don't know where to go because they're like, well, this isn't really like crime or like federal, but this is still a really big issue and I need to like fix it.
Mhm.
So I think that a hub for that or like a website for that would be such an incredible resource. And I think that that's definitely something that's needed, but not really talked about because everyone's just like, well, it's the parents' fault. Or if the kid's older, they're like, well, why didn't you know better? But nobody really talks about how to prevent it when it does happen or how to like fix it if something has already occurred. So I think that would be an incredible resource for people to have. And that was actually my last question for you. So thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I really enjoyed talking with you. Like you're actually a dream guest because we learned so much about cybersecurity and so many things that kind of are hard to talk about or just not talked about at all. So I really loved having that
Of
conversation with
course.
you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I am a natural, like, I want to help people learn. I want to teach people. And so doing stuff like this is one of my favorite things to do because I'm speaking out, I'm voicing what needs to be said, and it's a way for me to educate others. So again, thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the mission of, this show is I really want to give a platform to people to talk about different issues because obviously all of these issues are important, but I can't tackle them all by myself because there are experts like you in their respective fields who can talk so much about it and teach us so much. So, yeah, this was amazing. Thank you once again for coming and, I hope to connect with you sometime again in the future.
Of course. I'm actually going to reach out to you. I still need North Carolina on my book tour, so I'm probably going to be sending you a set of books here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be involved in that. Yeah, North Carolina is sometimes a tricky state just because so many people forget about it. It's so funny. And it's so funny because I moved here from Ohio like
Mhm.
6 years ago at this point. And when my parents told me like, oh, we're moving to North Carolina, I had to actually look it up on the map. I was like 10 and North Carolina. I've heard of California, and I had to like look it up. And yeah, so I would absolutely love to help you out and kind of reach out and raise awareness in North Carolina. That would be awesome.
I would be honored.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're watching the Super Bowl, have fun with that. And
My favorite part of the Super Bowl is the food, so I'm not too much of a sports person, so I'm here for the food.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know all the teams like in that. So I completely relate to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It has been an honor, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you, everybody who tuned in and
Yeah.
listened.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who took time out of their Sunday, especially on the day of the Super Bowl, to be here. So,
Yes, we appreciate
yeah.
it. All right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you once again to everybody who tuned in, and be sure to stay on the lookout on the Inspire, Unite, Motivate page because season 3 has just begun. So we will be posting, a lot more. And if you want to be spotlighted, we actually do have a Google form in our link tree in our bio. So go ahead and check that out and fill it out if you have your own initiative that you'd like to highlight or talk more about. You can also DM me directly, and I'd love to connect with you and have you on the show. So once again, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Keep an eye out on the page for the live replay if you missed part of it or just want to see it again. Or if you want to, find all those socials, I'll have those linked down below. And yeah, everybody, bye and have a great rest of